Welcome everybody. Wow, this is great. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up. All right, terrific, terrific. Thank you so much for coming. We have 49 people. That's awesome. I'm sure we'll get a couple more as we go on. What a beautiful day to start AngelRide. My goodness, so excited about all that sunshine and beautiful weather out there. I'm Lynn Pandiani. I'm an AngelRide volunteer and a burn camp mom, and I'm organizing the AngelRide this year. It was really fun to watch that slideshow of last year's AngelRide pictures and the burn camp pictures. There's some great shots by Ed and Bob, and some of your photos are in there too. If you do have trouble seeing or hearing us, Lynn McCarthy is going to help out with that. Her cell phone number is in the email that you used to join this meeting with the link. So just reach out to her if you need some help with any audio or video problems. You can also send her a chat, a private chat if you like. While we're talking about Zoom, you can see everybody's muted, and that's really so we can block out the background noise. You'll get a chance to talk at the end of the meeting. We're gonna unmute everybody and keep the meeting open, and you guys can chat at that time. Okay. So one of the other ways we can kind of talk to each other is with a poll. So we're going to start the meeting off, excuse me, with a poll. So bear with me here. There we go. Rachel, can you put up the logo background? Great. That one works too. Either one. Great. Thank you. So it's interesting to see so many people are here at the meeting. So we're going to do a poll to find out where you guys are from. So I'm going to launch it, and you should be able to see it now. We have people all across the United States and also across the pond. We have 2 people in Ireland walking for the AngelRide this year. The daughter is a burn camp counselor in training, so it's pretty cool. There are 10 choices there, so make sure to scroll up if you don't see your state. Give it another minute. I see, I think you guys can see what I'm seeing. We've got big crowd from Connecticut. On the Ireland folks are on, that's so cool. New Jersey, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, great. Thank you all so much for coming. Oh, and we have some people from Connecticut who are up in Vermont, so that's not on the list, but I'll add it for the closing ceremony. That's great. Thank you guys. I'm gonna end that poll now. Bear with me, I'm a little bit slow on this. Okay. So let's get the opening ceremony started. So Rachel, can you put me on the big screen, or there we go. Thank you. Thank you. We have Rachel, as you can hear, Rachel Gonzalez and Lynn McCarthy are co-hosts of the meeting. They've been really instrumental in putting this all together, and Kelsey Pandiani is helping out too today. They really work together well to make this whole virtual piece happen. So thank you so much, guys, for that. And so we made it to AngelRide. There was quite a few twists and turns along the way. And I'm so glad you guys could be a part of it and that you're here with us tonight. Whether you're riding, walking, running, volunteering, or donating, we really thank you for joining in the PokerRide so that we can continue the good work for the kids at the Arthur C. Luff Children's Burn Camp. You're really helping us spread the AngelRide love, raising awareness and funding for the camp, and carrying on the AngelRide tradition of challenging yourself with some hills this weekend. I'm sure you put in some hills on your ride. And we know you're going to have a great time and have a lot of fun. So I'd like to see who's out there. We'll do another poll to see if you're a rider or a walker or a volunteer. So here we go. Welcome. And how are you participating this year? So as of a few minutes ago, we have 79 people registered to ride, walk, or run. That's fantastic. And registration's still open. So if you know somebody that hasn't registered yet, they could put us in over 80. That would be awesome. We have a bunch of volunteers who are your card dealers, and that provides the support and the connection that is really very important to the AngelRide community. And behind the scenes, we have a bunch of team leaders, which I'll talk about a little bit later. All right, so riders, we've got a little bit of everything here today. I'm not sure we have any motorcyclists registered yet, but there's still time for them to join us too. So welcome and thank you for coming. And it's great to get to know you guys a little bit better. You're such a great group in AngelRide of dedicated, creative, close-knit community. Everyone is very generous with their time and talents and resources, and it was very important to us to keep that connection this year, even with what's going on. So I'm really grateful that you guys stepped up and are doing AngelRide this year and making it a huge success already. Rachel, could you put up the second slide for me, please? Great, thank you, thank you. So really want to share our thanks to everyone who's working to keep us safe and keep our lives functioning as much as possible during this pandemic. That includes many of you in the AngelRide family and in the Children's Burn Camp family. Just want to pass on, say for everybody how grateful we are for your work. Thank you very much. I'm going to talk a little bit about the team leaders next. You can see a bunch of them here. We've had monthly meetings until March, and one second. There's been a ton of twists and turns in this ride year. The team leaders rose to the occasion every single time. By March, you can imagine all of the plans and the details that had been worked out and all the plans that had put in place for the 2020 ride. Then came the coronavirus, and the team leaders really gracefully set aside all of that work to help figure out and show their support for this new version of AngelRide. Really heartfelt thank yous go out to Rachel, Zechariah, Dana, Tim, Sheila, Charlene, Jane, Janet, Carol, Deb, Marilyn, Tack, Gerald, Mira, Martin, Marion, Angel, Teresa, Kirsten, Andrea, Wayne, Cheryl, Kelsey, and Mark. That's a amazing group of folks, and they each take on a different piece of the ride and really make it the success and provide the support that we like to have. So thank you so much, guys. We also been working closely with Lynn McCarthy and Fred Brook, who founded AngelRide 17 years ago, and we're grateful. I'm grateful for their friendship, their guidance, their calming presence, and their willingness to roll up their sleeves. So thank you, guys. Somebody else we need to thank are the sponsors from this year. So if you, it's really wonderful to have these sponsors, and it's obviously been tricky this year, the past couple months. So we're very grateful to our sponsors, and if you have the opportunity to appreciate them as well, that would be fantastic. Would you like to put up the next slide, Rachel? Thank you. So coming up tonight, we are going to talk about why we do what we do. We're going to hear about the Arthur C. Luff Children's Burn Camp from Kathleen, the Executive Director of the Connecticut Burns Care Foundation. We're going to hear from Tammy, a counselor who was one of the first campers at Burn Camp. She spoke last year before the AngelRide started, so I'm sure you'll recognize her. We're going to carry on some of the AngelRide traditions. We're going to hear from Chris and Henry and Angel, and then we're going to do a little PokerRide briefing just to talk a little bit about how that's going to work. So before we hear from Kathleen, let's do one more poll to see who's out there from the Burn Camp family. There we go. So have you been a member of the Arthur C. Luff Children's Burn Camp family prior to joining in the AngelRide? We have registered for the AngelRide this year. We have 5 people who are alumni campers or family of campers. We have a Connecticut Burns Care Foundation board member. We have 6 counselors and 8 friends of the Connecticut Burns Care Foundation and the Children's Burn Camp. So that's really great to get to know the 2 communities, to get everybody together. All right, thank you for that poll. So now we'll hear from Kathleen from the Connecticut Burns Care Foundation.
Well, thank you, Lynn. Thank you to Lynn McCarthy and Fred and for everybody who's on the team to bring together AngelRide 2020. I just want to see if you know how to use your reaction buttons on Zoom. Who of you predicted that we were going to have a virtual ride in 2020? Just raise your hand, because you're liars. None of us could have, absolutely nobody could have predicted the situation we're in. So I want to just say to every one of you, thank you so much for sticking with the team, for figuring this out, and for making sure that we have a great weekend. Whoever is the team leader in charge of weather, at least for what we had today, we're going to double your compensation because today was fantastic and we're looking forward to a great weekend. In all seriousness, I wanted to share with you, as the executive director of our foundation, we've been around for 42 years. I've been here for 3, and I've been doing not-for-profit work for 30 years. This is terrifying. This is the first time in my existence that I've had to say, I don't know how we're going to fund everything moving forward. Since March, every single fundraiser that people were running for us or we were doing ourselves, everyone in March, April, May, and June has canceled. We have had a lot of cancellations for July, August, September, and I just received one for October. That is over half of our budget for the year. AngelRide is the one that shines because you have stood with us and you are continuing. And I am just so incredibly grateful to everybody who's part of this team and this community. You guys are a family, and I saw that last year when I had an opportunity to be with you for that ride. And you're so much like our camp community, and that's why this partnership really works. For those of you that don't know too much about our camp, it started in 1991. This would have been our 29th year of running camp. And it's a very unique program because it's for children whose lives were changed through a life-altering burn injury. Sometimes this is a fire in their home or a car or a campfire. Very often it's a scalding because that's very common for kids that are under 10 especially. It could be an electrical or a chemical issue, and it could be just a freak accident. Sometimes it's intentional, and those are some of the worst cases we deal with. But every child who comes to camp has been affected by a trauma, a burn trauma. And when they step off the bus or step out of their cars, they have a look on their face, if it's their first time there, of, I don't know what I'm getting into, I'm scared. And within minutes, they are embraced, they are hugged, they see the unconditional love, and their lives start to change. Everyone is on a physical and emotional journey to get beyond the trauma and to try to figure out what life is going to be like after this. So many of us right now, because of this COVID pandemic, we had to pivot. We had to challenge ourselves. We had to figure out, how am I going to survive under this roof with 5 kids distance learning? And how are we going to really figure out what to do next? And that's what our kids who come to camp have to face routinely. How am I going to learn how to tie my own shoes? How am I going to say, no, I can't go to the pool party because I don't want to show my scars? How am I going to rise to the challenge, walk down the hallway at school, and know people are staring at me? And this is what they get from camp. They get a camaraderie. They meet other kids who have gone through those challenges, who have succeeded, and who are going to support them. And certainly our counselors, who are an integral part of it. Some of them used to be campers. Some of them are adult burn survivors, so they've walked the walk. We also have first responders. We have nurses and doctors, police, fire, pre-hospital transport, EMTs, and those groups of people, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and just people who have huge hearts, huge shoulders, and want to help somebody. A lot of them are first responders who are on the front lines right now. Several of our teammates, some of whom are on this call actually, have been there since the very beginning. Some of them are EMTs who go into a home and they are on that ambulance ride for some of those people that are being diagnosed right now. And it's the scariest ride of their lives. Some of them are ICU nurses who are incubating people, and they're saying, this is terrifying for me as a nurse to hold their hands and comfort people. But that's the type of people that are at camp. This is what they do for a living. They're naturals. So as we're talking today about camp, I just wanted to share with you that unfortunately, for reasons that you can well understand, for the first time in our history, we had to cancel camp this year. And it was heartbreaking for everybody involved. Connecticut has decided that there will be no residential camps at all. We decided way before they made that call, it just wasn't safe for our kids. Most of them are medically fragile, and so it wouldn't be a good scenario. But also our counselors, those who are on the front lines right now, are exhausted and they're exposed. And it just wasn't going to happen. The one thing I want to share with you is that when we had to tell the kids that camp wasn't going to happen, almost none of them were surprised. They knew it was coming. They could see what was happening. They're very understanding of realities of life at a very young age. But the one question we got over and over again is, but it's going to happen next year, right? And we have to give them hope, and we have to say, absolutely it's going to happen. And I felt like I could say that with confidence because AngelRide has stood there with us, and you're going to be able to support us so we can carry on and make sure that Camp 2021 is better than ever, and that we can welcome all those kids and give them the hugs that they need and they deserve. I also just want to share with you that we don't have a lot of rules at camp because it's about unconditional love. Of course, we keep the kids safe, and of course we have structure, but it's about really following the personal journey that the kids are on. But the one rule we have is you can't say, I can't. We don't want to hear that ever. You can't say, I can't do this. You can say it's challenging, it's hard, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I only have one arm or one leg, I can't see, I can't do. That's okay, but you're going to figure it out. We're going to work with you to figure it out together. So for all of you this weekend who are running, walking, riding, pedaling, I don't ever want to see you hear you say, I can't. That voice inside your head that holds you back physically. So be like our campers. Don't say I can't. Say I'll try. I'll figure it out. This hill is not a mountain, it's a hill. I'm going to be able to do it. And it's all about personal challenges too. Some of our kids, when they get to us, are terrified of like our ropes course, which is pretty challenging. And for them to get both feet off the ground and to start climbing up a cargo net is a challenge. To get 2 feet off the ground is a success. Others, they're 35 feet in the air and they're going through it like a monkey and they're loving every minute of it. And we cheer them all on the same way. So for all of you that are out there that have a personal goal this weekend and you're being challenged, we encourage you from afar. We're giving you that virtual hug. And I just want to share personally that AngelRide this year being virtual has given me a unique opportunity. Usually I am out there being a staffer, being a volunteer, making sure people have water bottles, doing all that good stuff, which I love to do. So I can't participate in a lot of our events. This weekend I'm running for the first time ever my marathon. I've been trying to run a marathon for more decades than I care to admit. There's been pregnancies and jobs and other complications, but this weekend is my weekend for my personal challenge. So I hope all of you are taking a personal challenge as well, and we're paying it forward for those kids that can't wait to see us next year. So I just want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart and from our board of directors and from all of our campers. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting us. And I have a really big honor right now that I get to introduce you to somebody who some of you already know, but I have an opportunity to share with you again that when I first met Tammy Torres, I called her Miss Fierce because she is without a doubt a fierceness that is to be reckoned with. There she is, rocking it as usual. She smiles brighter than any star. She has a compassion for people that is hard to beat. She puts her love on her sleeve. She works hard. She's courageous. She also is one of our first campers in 1991. And she has evolved amazingly into a strong, passionate mom, fierce competitor. And she has actually been on the forefront of my career here at the Connecticut Burns Care Foundation to really help me understand what it's like to be a survivor and what it's like to overcome challenges. So without further ado, I just want to turn the screen over, if I can, Rachel, to Tammy and say, Miss Fierce, let's go get her this weekend.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for that introduction. I am honored, as always, to be part of the AngelRide, to be part of everything that we do with our C Left Burn Camp. It's always my pleasure. The camp and the counselors and the staff have given me so much. When I was younger, I attended 5 years at camp, and it's awesome, to give back, and to help the rest of the kids that are going to camp each and every year. As Kathleen said, I was one of the very first campers back in 1991, and I've had the honor of being a counselor there for the past 2 years. And the location changed. Of course, some of the staff changed, but you know what? Some of the staff that was there when I was a kid is still there as staff. And it just goes to show you, how much this camp means to the people who run it, who are staff, and the kids who attend. That 29 years later, there's still the same faces involved in the camp. And I'm supposed to talk about some pictures. Oh, here we go. Screen sharing. So, as I said, I've been a counselor for the last 2 years. It's been an amazing experience to be there with the kids, firsthand, and be a part of their experience, that entire week long. And this is just a small glimpse into the camp. And if you were here in the beginning to see the slideshow, then you saw some even more amazing pictures. And so these two pictures here, so just a little insight as to what is going on and what the camp is about. The picture to your left that's our kids at the lake. Okay, and the significance behind this, you think about camp and you think about swimming, you think about going to a lake, and that's an experience in and of itself. But as far as when it comes to burn camp and being at that lakefront, it means so much more than just having fun and just being able to swim. You know, I was burned 67% when I was 10 years old, and I remember the first thing out of the hospital, my fear was people looking at me and people judging me. And, I came across it on a regular basis. And a lot of these kids do as well, in which, people are cruel, kids are cruel. And, and what's different and what people don't understand, they tend to give a negative reaction to. And being comfortable enough to be in a bikini or to be in a bathing suit and showcase your scars is so hard, so hard. And being at burn camp gives the kids an opportunity to not care. There's no focus on their appearance, no focus on their scars. It's all about who they are as a person inside, getting them to face their fears and overcome challenges. And they get to be at that lakefront and go and be in a bathing suit without a care in the world, and be able to gain that confidence that it's not about how they look on the outside. It's not, yeah, they're different, but it's being different is what makes them unique. It's what makes them who they are, and being able to embrace those scars. So it definitely is. I know for me, when I was younger, that was one of the main things why I loved being at camp, was that waterfront and being able to just be me, and it's definitely a huge, a great experience for the kids. And then to the right, you have our Drums Alive program, which I had the pleasure of leading with one of the other counselors, Lexi, this year. Last year. And it was a blast. And this is one of those activities in which, honestly, the kids might not ever have experienced any type of, it's a cardio based drumming. And if you think, being at camp and being at burn camp is all about being able to challenge yourself and do things that you never would have thought that you were capable of doing. And these, sometimes the kids face challenges at home in which they have these limitations, and because some people may not understand what is going on with them, they may set limitations and say, oh no, you can't do that. And that's where this fear and this lack of confidence comes in which they're like, okay, well, maybe I can't. And as Kathleen said, that is one of the things at burn camp that we don't allow. You never say I can't. It may be challenging, it may be hard, but we find a way for you to overcome those challenges. And with the drumming, it's, it was about fun and having a good time. And, some of the kids were a little apprehensive, but they kind of let loose in it. It's one of those stress relievers. You get to just hit the ball as hard as you can, jam out to it, and just a little something that happened last year is um, one of the girls who came to the session that I didn't know. Some of the campers I knew from the year before, some of the campers I didn't. They didn't know me. They were like, who's this person? Who's this girl? This counselor here. What is she trying to do? And I know from experience, as being a kid, and being a burn survivor, you tend to put up a barrier. You put up a a guard, in which you're very just cautious of the people you interact with, because the kids, they may not have had positive experiences with people that they don't know. And so one of the girls, they came as a session all together, and I asked her name, and she was like, I don't have a name. I said, really? Okay, no problem. All right, it's all good. Come on, let's go. We went through the session, we jammed out, me and Lexi and the kids, and all the kids in her group. She was one of the mid girls. And by the end of the session, she was all smiles. I went over to her and I said, so can I know your name now? And that guard automatically went down, and she told me her name. And that right there was amazing, like for me to experience, but for her to let down her guard, like she's gonna learn throughout life now, that not everybody is is that you come across new is there to be negative towards you, and to be able to gain that trust in others, and to let that guard down, and let somebody into your heart, and let somebody into your life, and just and embrace it. So that's just a little something about like what goes on in camp. There's so much more to it, but I can say firsthand that it's only 1 week in the summer each year, but that 1 week has the power to change a child's life forever. The bonds that they make there, I have friends who that I went to camp with the very first year that I'm still friends with now. It's everlasting bonds. It's irreplaceable, priceless. So.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much for sharing and helping
You're
us
welcome.
see camp and bringing us to camp. Really appreciate that. Now, can we go to Chris and Henry, Rachel? There we go. Thank you. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. I'll let you guys take it from here.
All right, so my name is Chris Haddad. This is my son, Henry. I've got my vintage 2005 AngelRide hat from my first year of doing the AngelRide. So I think I've done 15, and Henry has done 10.
Well, this will be
his 10th. So we are privileged to be part of the AngelRide community. For those who are new, I think you'll find there's something magical about this group, and this quote will speak a little bit to it. And just a little bit of context. So last year we came to the ride. We couldn't ride, but we presented this quote. This quote has been a part of the AngelRide forever. It used to be read by Matty Cook when he worked at the camp, at the Home Logging camp, and then after he left, I was able to sort of carry the torch and present this quote. And this was, when it was a 2-day ride, this was always the last thing we heard before we got on our bikes the morning of the second ride, when we really needed a bit of inspiration after having done a long ride on day one. But so this is a quote from George Bernard Shaw. It comes from a book called Man and Superman, and I think it really captures in a great way the value of being something a little bit bigger than and more important than yourself, and the strength and the joy we get from it. So thanks for having us. Thanks for letting us continue to carry on this tradition. And this is the quote from George Bernard Shaw. "This is the true joy in life, being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it what I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is the sort of splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations." So that's the wisdom of George Bernard Shaw, and the power, talking, that we get this real, true joy in our life by being used for a purpose that we all recognize as being a mighty one, and this certainly is that. So thanks for letting us continue. Good luck, everybody, with your ride, your run, your walk, and thanks to everybody who's here and participating.
Thank you, Chris and Henry. That was just wonderful. And I just love carrying on the traditions with AngelRide, and that's really a great one, and really speaks volumes about this community. So thank you. Rachel, could you put up the next slide with the sign? There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you also to Kathleen and Tammy for bringing us right to camp and sharing the impact that camp has on the campers. And I know that this year with fundraising, it's just a different year because of the last couple months. So if you are able to do a bit of fundraising, thank you. Thank you very much. It's very appreciated. And if you're able to do more, please do so. Every little bit helps. It's kind of a many hands make light work thing. And also there's still some time. We are leaving the fundraising open until July 1st. So if this is not a great year for you to fundraise, we totally understand that, and that's okay. But if you can, obviously the camp would very much appreciate it. So would the kids and the families of the campers. So thank you. I see that I did not share the poll results. So my apologies for that. I'm going to see if I can do that now. Just quickly, we'll go through the states and the countries where everybody's from. And let's see, which other one did we do? The participation type. Great amount of riders, and it's really cool to have walkers and runners this year, and it's a lot of fun. And then the Burn Camp family. So there we go. So that's, my apologies for that. I'll get that right on the closing ceremony. All right, so now we'll talk a little bit about the PokerRide. You should have received your a little card that would tell you who your card dealers are. Oh, I'm sorry. So you can connect with each other. The riders, walkers, and runners are the players, and your card would have told you who your card dealer is. The volunteers are the card dealers, and they have a little scorecard where they can keep track of your hand for you while you're out on your ride. When you complete your mileage, take a selfie or a picture of where you are, or a picture of your bike or something cool to send to your volunteer card dealer, and then they'll deal you a card and take a picture of it and send it back to you. You have until Monday at 1 o'clock, roughly, to earn your cards. We have to compile the master list and need a little time to do that. So I'd appreciate it if you finish around 1 on Monday, that'd be great. You can earn 3 cards or 5 cards, depending on how far you go on your route. So at the closing ceremony, we will draw 2 community cards that could be added to everybody's hand. So if you earned 5 cards, however, you do have a choice. You can keep all 5 cards as your final hand and not use the community cards. Or you can discard 2 cards and then the community cards will be added to your hand. So talk with your, the players and the card dealers can kind of talk about that and figure that out when you finish your ride or your walk or your run. If you have any questions at all, reach out to your card dealers. You can always reach out to me too. And you know, it's all for fun. So have a good time with it. And if you know AngelRide at all, you know that safety is a really big thing for us. So please take a minute to go to the website. We have some great information, safety related food for thought, has a lot of great information there, and also riding best practices. So check that out before you begin. There's also a remember this list that might help you have everything you need for the ride. So our closing ceremony is going to be Monday at 4 o'clock. It's the same link that you used today to get to this ceremony. It starts at 4. However, the meeting will be open at 3:30, and we will be having a slideshow of your selfies and the photos that you sent from your AngelRide. So please get those in and we'll put a slideshow together. The I'm sorry, your card dealers will share your selfies with Rachel. So you just need to share them. The players just need to share them with the card dealers. But that will be fun to see. So keeping with more traditions of AngelRide, we have the moto crew next. So the moto crew heads out before everyone else, and they're on duty all day. They work with SAG until the last rider crosses the finish line. It's just one of the reasons why AngelRide is known as one of the best supported rides. So here comes the moto crew. Great, thank you. And another great tradition is that Angel usually starts off the ride, so we're going to do that again this year. She's one of those people working to keep everybody safe, and so she pre-recorded this in case she couldn't be here with us tonight, because I believe she is working. So Rachel, can you play that video? Oh, she's going to go live. I'm so sorry. Hey, that's awesome. Thanks, Angel. I'm going to mute myself and then you can get going there. Thanks.
Hi, I was actually able to make it home on time. So I'm so happy to be here with everyone. For those of you who don't know, my name is Angel. I'm so excited to be here with all of you in spirit and in love. I've always known how strong our AngelRide family is. And of course, you know, with the burn camp now, of course, a part of our big family. And I want to thank everyone for your continued efforts to support the Arthur C. Luft Children's Burn Camp. I'd like to just think of this crazy time as another hill that we have to climb over, and I know we are no stranger to big hills. So I urge you during this weekend to keep your thoughts and your hearts with the children of the burn camp. They need your love more than ever now, and I'm so happy that we can support them. I hope you all enjoy your journeys this weekend, and I can't wait to hear how everyone does. So spread your love and your miles across the state and all over. Apparently, I didn't realize we had so many people from out of state. And just think of those children while you ride. You know, when it gets tough, just keep them in your hearts and keep going. So with that, I want to get this weekend started in this ride. So ready, set, go!
Thank you, Angel. And here we go, Rachel. Go ahead and play that video, and then we're going to open up the meeting and stay on if you'd like to chat. And thank you for coming, and thank you for doing the Angel Ride. Have a great poker ride.